Welcome back to the side of the stage.
Oh, thanks. It's good to be stage right.
So I actually am a big fan of Sci-Fi's Alice, which you were in.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to know what that whole thing was like and how you felt about that whole production.
Well, I love playing the White Knight, and he's a fantastic character because he's funny and sad and confused and lonely and all the real human things, you know. And it's a lovely character to play, sort of like Don Quixote mixed with the Cowardly Lion, you know. It was a fantastic role to play, and the director Nick Willing is a great friend, and he basically just gave me one note at the beginning. He just said, Matty, you must know that the White Knight has been driven mad by loneliness. You know, and it was like, wow, okay, I get it, you know, and that's sort of all that I needed. And then he just sort of let me go. It was a lot of fun to do. Thank you. Excuse me. Right here.
Hi, I was just wondering, they've killed off poor Julie in his death, and would one of his brothers, like Pestilence, like to step up and become the new Death?
Sure. I mean, Pestilence is basically death in waiting anyway. So, you know, it's like the doctor will see you now. So, sure. I think that's a great idea. Tweet away. Okay.
Hi. Is there any part, like, since you played Pestilence, is there anything you acted out that just grossed you out completely?
Look, the idea of Pestilence grossed me out completely. But then you get on the set, and then you know, the effects guys are kind of going, "This is the snot that you're going to be using," and then they allow you to, you know, stick your hand in the bucket of green goo so it doesn't gross you out at the time. The idea of it grosses you out beforehand, but the actual execution of the grossness, no, nothing grosses me out. Done? Hello.
Hello. So I've spent my life watching you in so many things.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to know what your favorite role has been.
Gosh, I love playing the White Knight. I love playing Daedalus in Olympus. I love playing Sherlock Holmes. Boy, there've been a few actually. I kind of have a short list of probably 8 or 9. I've been very lucky that way. So blessed really. So, but thank you. I don't have a favorite. It's the old deal, isn't it? It's like you're my favorite child. I'm giving you up for adoption.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's just a fun line. Hi, my name is Rachel.
I'm trying negotiating that thing in the middle. I think I'm supposed to sit on it. But...
Okay, first, I'm very, very excited because the first thing I've ever seen you in was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh.
And that's how me and my friends started to lark. We actually would pretend we were in the movie and whatnot. So my question is based on that movie.
Sure.
Because I absolutely love it. What was it like working on that set with Rick Moranis and the kids and all that jazz?
It was great. It was shot down in Mexico City, and it was all oversized props. So you know, giant Cheerios, and I think one of my fondest memories of the thing was the giant ant, because it was a giant puppet ant, and they had a Mexican puppet crew working on it, and there would be one guy on each leg and one for the calipers, and with this guy going, unos, dos, tres, unos, dos, tres, unos, dos, tres, unos, dos, tres. And we watched this, that's amazing, and then you know, and then somebody goes, it's your line. Oh, right. But it was just incredible. I mean, it was just so wonderfully silly, you know, and that again, you know, the back in the days when they wanted an oversized Cheerio or the oversized bee, and it was actually an oversized Cheerio or bee. You know, and now you can do things instantly, digitally. So some of that craft work is gone, but now it's been replaced by guys who are equally, if not more, talented in other areas. And so, yeah, but it was...
You were shrunk, and then you were made bigger again. Did you actually stay a little smaller? Because the whole hat thing didn't fit?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were referring to something else. Yeah, I still have that hat, just to remind me not for my head not to get too big. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. I was actually just wondering, you've done a number of Stephen King movies, and I was wondering if that was, if you're a Stephen King fan, or if you just kind of wound up doing the movies. Or...
I've always been a Stephen King fan. I love The Stand. That was one of my favorites ever. And Mick Garris, who directed that, has become a great friend, and I've worked with him, I think it's 7 times since. And I have the distinction of being the actor in the most Stephen King adaptations of anyone else. So thank you for noticing. Hello.
Trash Can Man was awesome. He is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you.
The great thing about you is you've done so much. We've got 1,000 different things we can ask you about. I want to ask you about Eureka. It's one of my favorite shows. You are one of my favorite actors and characters on there. Do you have any funny stories or anything that happened that you remember that just stands in your mind about Eureka?
The dog that I was chasing never did what the dog was supposed to do, but and so in a way it was fine because the Jim Taggart character was so sort of big-hearted and so good with the animals that it didn't really matter whether or not the dog was going to do, because he would always sort of forgive him, and he just didn't do anything he was supposed to do, and it just went on and on. I was like, but he didn't bite me, so he was good that way. You know, I'd always be feeding him stuff from the craft table. That's probably why.
He had you.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi. I was wondering if, along the lines of the last question, if you had any other funny moments on any other set that you were on?
Yeah, lots. I mean, stuff happens all the time. I was doing, this is only coming to mind because of working with dogs. I worked with another dog at one point, and he did bite me. And, but I always remember the conversation with the guy who was the dog handler afterwards saying that I had pulled him out of the car wrong and that's why he bit me. So it was, I always thought that was kind of funny. It was just sort of like he was panicking and he needed to blame somebody. So I was just the convenient go-to actor. Well, you idiot, your hand was there, so no wonder he bit you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you talk about your time doing Hercules?
Well, that was with Bobcat Goldthwait. He and I were Pain and Panic together, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I realized that a lot of the stuff was going to be the interplay between the two of us, so we got a chance to record together, which was a lot of fun. I mean, he's a great guy. He's the most caffeinated but we had a great time together. It was good bouncing off him. I mean, there was so much stuff that hit the cutting room floor that probably didn't make it in because obviously it wasn't going to make it in. But yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. You can see I'm slowing up now.
Hi. I wanted to ask you, how did you enjoy doing Max Headroom?
It was amazing, and it was so weird that we always thought I I always thought it was weird enough to do well, but who knew? And I was an actor over in England at the time, and a friend of mine auditioned for this weird thing called Max Headroom, and he said he didn't think he was right for it, but he knew somebody who was. And you know, how often does that happen? Like never. And I went in and did this ad lib around 6 lines of dialogue, and then auditioned for the other character, the Edison Carter character, and then got it from there. I mean, and it was a lot of work, and it was exhausting. I mean, you know, you finish up at excuse me, at that time it was MGM Studios in LA, and you know, everyone would finish their day's work, and then I would get into the prosthetics, rubber makeup, and bank Max footage for the next day, because when I was playing the other character, I had to be playing with Max, so in effect playing with myself. It's every actor's dream, believe me. And so I'd finish up at kind of midnight, and then sort of stagger back to the Oakwood Apartments and you know, down Venice Boulevard. And I remember going into Taco Bell, and it was the only thing that was open, and coming out with a bean burrito or something, and I was so tired I squeezed the bean burrito too hard, and it ended up in this kind of turd shape on the hood, and it just I just let it sit there, and it hardened, and it sort of became like my hood ornament. It just seemed perfect. I just, you know, wow, look at that, it's fantastic. So yeah, I just loved it. It was great. It's better than a Mercedes-Benz symbol. You know, bean curd. Hello?
Hi. I love your character, Dr. Leakey, on Orphan Black.
Oh, thank you.
And I wanted to ask what it was like working on that show.
It was great. You know, John Fawcett, who is one of the creators on it, and was directing that first episode anyway, where that character is introduced. He and I had worked together on Steven Spielberg's Taken, the miniseries, and he's a lovely director, John, and you know, Tatiana, who plays all the clones. I mean, it's fantastic what she's doing. I mean, so you know, they're going to kill her. I mean, it's just it's exhausting what she's doing, but somehow manages to embody all these different personalities, and it was fun to do. I mean, very kind of cutting edge, weird, and somehow mesmerizing the show, you know. So yeah, I wish them all the best. They're amazing. So it's good fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh no, I didn't realize that's what we have to go through. Yes.
Hello. I just wanted to know if you were able to keep any souvenirs from like the Supernatural set, like the ring. Like, are you guys allowed to keep the rings?
I tried so hard to swipe stuff, and you know, flying tackles, choreographic shots. No, I wasn't able to get it. I wasn't able to get out with anything. I didn't even get any office supplies. Just one letterhead. You know, I had nothing.
All right, thank you.
Otherwise, I'd give it to you. I know what you're like. Hello.
How are you?
Not bad.
My question is about Eureka. Do you have a funny, memorable moment from the show?
Well, there were lots. I mean, you know, Colin Ferguson, our main guy on it, was great. And you know, in these things, the fish either rots or smells good from the head down. And he was our number one on the show, and he smelled pretty good. And so it was, he sort of established the sort of goof off tone. So it was sort of all bets are off, and we had a great time on it. I mean, every day had something going on. You know, people were always hiding stuff from other actors so they wouldn't get on the set in time and stuff, which is always fun because you want to get other people in trouble. It's basically grade 3, but you know, you're getting paid for it.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll be back. Hello.
Hi.
We're hearing some rumors that you may be involved in Eric Crispy's new show.
Yeah.
Coming up in Vancouver. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, it's called Time, and it's a time travel show, and Eric very kindly asked me to be in that, so I'm gonna start shooting that next week, actually.
So you can stop by Supernatural, in case they need it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like a one-stop shopping.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Hello.
Hello. Question for you. You have been in so many roles and you've spoken about them all this afternoon. Was there a role that you were up for that you wanted to get, or you were you auditioned for that you would have liked to have been in? And could you share with us what that role was that you really missed out on? There's always ones that you get close on, and I've been down to the last 2 or 3 on some big things, and they take the other guy, and you kind of you just sort of have to move on, and you can't specifically though. I can't think of any right now. I did this one in the Nick, which was this HBO show, and I auditioned for something else in that, and then Steven Soderbergh got in touch, and he said, "Well, you should play this other role," and I said, "Great." So that was a sort of a happy rejection, if there is such a thing, if you know what I mean. So when something like that happens, and you can still be involved with the project if you really love the project or the people or usually firstly the script, that's when it's really great. So you're not, they say, "No, you can't do this," and you're like, "Oh God, I'm ready to slash my wrist. I'm halfway through," and then they go, "Come back for this." I said, "But I'm bleeding out here." So it was, that one was a happy rejection. It's going to be my new stripper name, actually.
Hi. Loved you in Supernatural, but what I'd like to ask you about is your experience in Search of Dr. Seuss. And did you actually learn anything about Theodore Geisel?
Audrey Geisel was behind the project, and it was very flattering. She asked for me to play the Cat in the Hat, which was pretty amazing. And to meet her, she's a lovely woman, but she looks a bit like the Cat in the Hat. She has this lovely round face and these high cheekbones and very big eyes, and she's a really, really sweet woman. And it was cool to work on it. Vince. Last name, but he was Michael Jackson's choreographer, and he directed this, and just amazing. I mean, working with Kathy and Jimmy was a blast, and I loved being fitted for the cat suit. It was like it was like a furry tuxedo, and one of my dogs at the time got very amorous with it. It was like and when they came over to fit me for the tuxedo, and I was talking to the costume designer, and behind her, one of my dogs was sort of like, "Hey." He realized this one wasn't going to get away. And I was just, having at my tux. And so there was this stupid scene for the next couple of minutes where I'm trying to, just asking her anything. So how long have you been a wardrobe designer? I was trying to stall. I was trying to stall for one of my dogs. I did anything for him.
Thank you.
Thank you, I think. Hello.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
You're obviously a loyal wingman, that's what that was.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge zombie horror fan, and of course I absolutely loved you on Mama Dead. You did such a great, that scene is amazing. It emotes so much emotion from you,
Oh, thank you.
So, again, similar question to the Eureka one. Do you have any memories, anything major that you brought out of that?
Well, the girl playing my daughter at the time, you know, she was a fairly new actress, and we were trying to make sure that she wasn't burnt out before we actually got to shooting it, you know. And it's always dangerous with those things where you bring too much emotion too early on in the rehearsal process, because you get cried out, and then when it comes time, you have to, that's when it counts. And so with her, it was there was a lot of that going on. We just had to sort of make sure that we were going to peak at the right time, and it was interesting because Zack Snyder, again, that was his first big film after 300, and he was great. He just sort of let us get on with it, and was very tender. He was very sort of a real father figure with that particular scene, and so he was very helpful.
You could tell it's an amazing scene. It's one of the two major scenes in the movie that you're just like, wow, what you bring from it.
That's really sweet of you to say. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay.
Hello. Hello. So you seem like one of those true actors that can really take a role and kind of make it your own without a lot of guidance. So my question is, now going back a few years, when did you realize in your life that you wanted to do this?
I was lined up to do an honors degree course in biology at university, and I couldn't really see myself chopping up worms' hearts for the rest of my life, strange as that may seem. And it was sort of when I left high school, I think, and I'd always enjoyed school plays and all the rest of it. And the drama teacher there said, "You get a lot more girls if you have them." So okay, that sounds good. So that's pretty much what sold it. But I went over to England, and I was part of the National Youth Theatre of Great Britain for 2 seasons, and then I had a classical training at the Bristol Theatre School, and then did 11 years in England with reps and a lot of West End and BBC and films and so on. And then the Max Headroom thing happened after 11 years, and then that brought me over to LA. So it was, I'd been around for a while in the sort of pre-Max thing, but it was kind of good because it just sort of allowed me time to learn, and get some chops, So it's all been great. Very, very fortunate.
Theater or show, what do you prefer?
Oh, I kind of go with the material first and the medium second and a small third. Either or. I mean, it's really based on the material and the people you're working with.
Thank you.
Thank you. She's back. Hi.
No, I'm different.
Oh, are you? You're different? How different are you? I could tell.
Besides your own character, who's your favorite supernatural character?
Death is pretty cool. Death is a tough one. Because if for no other reason than Death is final, he's absolute, and he's quite extreme. I go for that, the sort of finality thing. I think that's kind of a good one.
Awesome, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you. Across a crowded microphone. Hello. Breathe. What's your favorite color? I'm sorry. Ask me anything.
Okay, I wanted to ask you to do an impression of Panic.
Oh, Panic. Okay. Well, he talks very much like me, but he's a bit more wound up. He's just more wound up. It's me after kind of eating a jar of freeze-dried Nescafe.
Thank you.
I'll never blink again.
So obviously you just said you worked in England for a while. I assume that's where you could pick up that accent to do that. For your Aussie one, for Eureka, how did you pick that up? And have any Aussies watched Eureka and seen him? Is his accent good or bad? Because to my American ears it sounded good.
Yeah, and, you know, the idea of that character was that he was supposed, you know, he'd been in Oregon for a while, and that the accent was sort of softened, and that it was kind of half American, half Australian, because he was on a walkabout going back to Australia, and he stops in Eureka for a year or two, you know, and he just sort of stayed put. And but yeah, there was an Australian guy on the set who I always picked his brains, and you know. He was nuts. He was great. You know, so how that sounded, he said, yeah, it was perfect. It was great. But he basically taught me that you just sort of, you know, you got to talk questions. Yeah, you have sentences. And it, you know, and it sort of gave Taggart that kind of, you know, it kind of informed who he was, you know, just sort of like this really enthusiastic.
Have you done like non-English speaking? You know what I mean? Like
non-English. Oh yeah. I just did a stint on 12 Monkeys as a Nazi, which was always fun. And I played Czechs and you know Brits and yeah, lots of different stuff. So it's good fun. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. I wanted to ask about, lately, it seems, at least in the shows that I've been watching, like Orphan Black and Falling Skies and Supernatural, that you always play this kind of creepy but also take charge kind of person. And where did you get your inspiration for that? Or how do you get that commanding attitude to be able to control, or to be able to give that air of control?
Creepy change. I think I think first and foremost it comes from the script. Then it comes from your experience. You try and put yourself in to any commanding situation that you've been in. And if you haven't been in a commanding situation, then your imagination comes into play. And those are the sort of stages or steps that you've got to take. The costume helps, the lighting helps, because sometimes they'll shoot you from down below, which always looks sort of more imposing than, when they're shooting there, and the lighting and so on. So you're helped on set, but in general, I think probably the less you do, it's probably the more commanding. That if you're just still and you're just staring at the person, that's kind of scary, because it puts the onus on the other person to start blabbing, and usually they do.
Thank you. I really enjoyed you as the commander.
You're blabbing. See, you're blabbing. It works.
And Falling Skies and just your interaction with Noah Wiley, I thought it was really cool.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello. I believe you were in a sitcom many years ago called Dr. Doctor.
Yeah.
And I think it's the only television sitcom that you've done, and I was wondering what that experience was like, and if it's fun or if there's a reason that that's the only sitcom that you've done.
Well, good question, but actually I did one right after that, and it was called Shaky Ground for Fox. But Dr. Doctor was for CBS. And it was fantastic. It was written by Norman Steinberg, who wrote Blazing Saddles and My Favorite Years. So, he knows his way around comedy. And he said to me on the first day, I want you to do whatever you want. So, what? Yeah, do whatever you want. So it was a blast to do, because what we ended up doing was one take on the script, and then I would do two off the script, and then they would put it together in the edit. So it was just a wonderful kind of free-form way of working. And then I foolishly thought after that every job would be like that. And of course it's not, because a lot of people are very rigid about their words and kind of keep a kind of white-knuckle death grip on them. And, but, you know, Norman was great because he you know, let it go, and it reflected well on him because, you know, people were going, oh, I love that, and you know, and then he would return the favor in kind and kind of go, oh, he was ad-libbing all that stuff. So it was a blast to do. It was a great way of working, and, you know, I miss that show. So thank you for bringing it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody over there? Oh, there's something.
So thank you very loud. So I just want to say thank you for coming. My question was really about when you signed up for the role of Pestilence, did you kind of know what you were getting into with this crazy supernatural fandom that was happening, or did you only find out kind of after the fact that there was all of these people who were crazy about the show?
Well, I knew the show was popular, obviously, but at that time, you know, that was a few years ago, so it hadn't kind of achieved its nadir or its apogee, its pinnacle. It wasn't doing as well as it is now. But it was, yeah, I mean, the momentum that it's gathered is phenomenal. So, you know, real testament to the show, the people working on the show, and you guys to keep it right at the forefront, and it's great. A lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you vacant over there? Are you barren?
It's just me.
Sorry.
I'm not exactly sure what I walked into. Are you grilling people with their reproductive capabilities?
That's right. And now on reproductive organ.
You know what, Mike? Note to self, we need to add a reproductive organ to the table.
Have that on the rider.
That's a little slightly more risque than tinkling on the ivories. How fantastic is it to have this gentleman on the stage?